Greetings, friends. Happy Monday. Another Team Iron and Lace group call. Today's call, we're going to be talking about feeding your family while fueling your goals. One table, two goals. I like that name a lot. So this call is going to be for all the moms and dads out there who are experiencing difficulties, challenges when trying to make good food choices for their goals, and feed their kids, probably under the age of 10. So I'll also say that this call could totally be applied to people who don't have kids, but the main focus today is on helping families, especially young families, with their meal times and what that means. So we're just gonna jump straight into the tips that we have for you guys and see where this conversation goes. To start off, I'd like to encourage everyone, tip number one, to upgrade your family favorites. This is something that I just do for myself. And I think that parents should also do it for their kids. If your kids want pizza, like, let's make some. If they want mac and cheese, sure, like let's make it. Chicken tenders, you got it. And like if you guys came to this call and you thought that we were gonna get on here and tell you to put like plain chicken and rice in front of your kids and then wish you good luck, you thought wrong. We got you. So if there is a food that your kids or one specific problem child likes to eat all the time, I promise you there is a healthier version out there that you can probably eat with them. Will it require more effort than putting a frozen pizza in the oven? Probably. But if you were already committed to staying on track, that same effort that you'd be putting in to make this favorite food a little bit healthier, it's the same effort you'd be putting into cooking a separate meal if you were going to do that anyway. So both will keep you on track. And we actually had a call back in January where we talked about how to turn regular recipes into macro-friendly recipes. So highly recommend, if you didn't catch that call, go back and watch that one, because we actually went through some recipes and we like talked in detail about what you could change to make those recipes more macro-friendly. So yeah, that same concept applies here. Chicken tenders made at home are super macro-friendly. And even if you're making your kids these homemade chicken tenders, you can just omit the breading and then bake your plain chicken tenders next to the breaded ones for the kids. Chick-fil-A does this. They have grilled chicken at Chick-fil-A and they have their breaded chicken strips as well. So if Chick-fil-A can do it, so can you. Shout out Chick-fil-A. So yeah, same thing goes for like mac and cheese and pizza. So many homemade recipes. You can make them at home so that they're more macro friendly than what you might get from like a box or a frozen product or something from a restaurant. Come here, dog. So any comments on that part, Shalise?
Yeah, I mean, like you already kind of said, it's not about, we don't expect you to be a short order chef, a short order cook. There are so many different things that you can do to the food that you're already creating for yourself, your spouse, your significant other, whatever, that will still work for your kids. And here's the thing, like there's two things on this. Like I'm gonna play the devil's advocate on both sides. Again, I'm not telling you to create a totally different meal for your kids and like to force feed your kids what you have on your menu or what you're eating either. But also, there's nothing wrong with what you're eating too, and nothing wrong with, like this is what's on your plate. This is what you get to eat, and this is what we made for you. Like I grew up that way. Like if I didn't want what was on the dinner table, that was my bad. Like I didn't get a whole separate meal either. So it's funny because when talking to a couple of my clients about this exact topic, they were saying how like, no, if they're not going to eat what we're making, then they don't eat. That's fine. I'm not making them a totally separate meal. But there are some alternatives to some of the things. Like, for example, one client had said, and I know you're going to get into this in a little bit, Taylor, too, but if like they're eating filet mignon, okay, their kids aren't going to get filet mignon. They're going to get some sort of other steak that we can also put on the grill that they like, or chicken, or chicken tenders, or something else that can go on the grill. They'll be fine with. Like, it doesn't mean the exact same thing. There are alternatives for the kids. So there's no reason for you to like have to make all these different separate meals and be a short order cook in your own kitchen.
Mm-hmm. Honestly, like a barbecue, a grill is such a game changer.
Oh, so much.
If you guys are not barbecuing or grilling, please do it. You can get a grill and have it like on your outside of your apartment or on your patio. You gotta, if you live in an apartment, I should say, but if you live in a house and you have a backyard, there needs to be a grill in it.
Yeah.
What was the other thing that you just mentioned besides grilling? I don't know.
Separate meal. Cooking the same thing, just different.
Oh, eating what's on your plate. As a kid, like parents put food on plate, kid eats food or doesn't eat. That I don't know when exactly that changed, but also as a kid I wasn't a picky eater, I don't think. So I don't know. And I don't have kids to know what it's like to have a picky eater, but I'm sure that like it's really, really hard to walk that line between like, child, I just need you to eat food. You need sustenance. And then them being like, well, all I want is mac and cheese. Or we're going to use mac and cheese as a good example because it is the universal kid food. Like, yeah. I don't know any kid that's like, ew, mac and cheese. Like, no. But how much of liking mac and cheese is just due to the hype around mac and cheese? Is it a fun thing? Because it is different and it's like, I don't know. It's also really tasty.
Yeah. And I think I like kind of going what we were just saying about you ate what's on your plate thing. Like, I appreciate that from my parents because it opened me up to a lot of different foods that I don't think I would eat today. Like, for example, like cow tongue, tripe, horseradish, sauerkraut, all these weird things that like kids don't normally like, like I ate that stuff and that's either I ate it or I didn't, and that was it. And it was always like, I don't care if you like it or not, just try it. If you don't like it, okay, don't eat it. At least try it. And it worked. I'm not a picky eater at all. I will eat pretty much anything. And I appreciate my parents for that because that was kind of how it was. If I didn't eat what was on my plate, that I didn't eat, period. So, and it opened me up to a lot of different foods.
Yeah. I spoke with a certified fit dad today who I know has 2 kids under the age of 10. And his rule was if it smells good, you have to try it. So lure your kids into the kitchen with yummy smelling foods and then force them to eat it. But like they probably smell the sauerkraut and be like, mm-mm.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's see. So our tip number 1, upgrade your family favorites. So like make those fun foods at home instead of maybe ordering them out or buying them from a store. And like when you are making those meals at home, I don't even think that the best part about making the foods at home is the slightly better macros. It's that you can like actually involve your kids with the cooking process, which is the second tip that we have is have your kids help with the cooking process. So like even if it's something as simple as handing you different cooking utensils while you do the actual cooking, if they're like too young to be involved with knives or flame, things of that nature, definitely like get them involved as much as possible, but it doesn't have to be like they're actually the ones like cooking the food in the pan. Anything that they do will make them feel like they played an important role. in the family dinner. Um, and this will probably be something that's easier to introduce with the foods that they do enjoy. So if you say like, hey bud, like we're making pizza tonight, they're probably gonna be stoked and be like, yeah, let's go, like let's do it. Um, and then once they do see like, oh, I cook with mom and dad and like I help with the dinner, they see that that process is fun and it's rewarding, then you can have them help cook new foods or foods that they think that they don't like right now. And that kind of that involvement that they have with the preparation of the dinner will make them much more open to trying foods that they may not have been open to trying before.
Yeah.
So everything that I've brought up so far, it does require time and effort, and I acknowledge that. So this idea of like cooking as a family, it can't be the norm every day. But if you try to do it once or maybe twice a week, you will probably be surprised at how much interest your kids show in like what's for dinner, or like can I help you cook, or they'll start wanting to be included. And we can't speak for all kids here, but chances are they are going to have fun doing this thing with you, and being involved with something, and it might even lighten like the that kind of mental and physical load of like, oh, I have to make dinner. Like instead you're doing something with your kid, like you're spending time with your child, so that can be uplifting as well as maybe a little bit frustrating, but hopefully in a loving way.
Yeah. A little bit messier maybe, but it's fine.
Yeah. Messes
Involve them,
are,
involve them in the cleaning process too.
yes, definitely in the cleanup process. So for those nights, like during the week, for example, when you don't have extra time to dedicate to this like family cooking process, what do you do? And I think that's where like all of our clients, I think that they do involve their kids in the cooking process, and that is something that they try to do. And they try to make fun foods at home for them, but that's not the reality of like day-to-day life. That's maybe a hopefully a weekly occurrence, but it's kind of more of a special occasion. So for those regular nights, you might end up serving your kids Kraft mac and cheese. And I am here to tell you that that is okay. But as far as like the like cooking two separate meals goes, if your kid is going to be able to have mac and cheese, why don't you have similar backup meals just like your kids do? So, tip number 3 is to have convenient and healthy, ready to eat meals for you, just like you do for your kids. So, if your little one has boxed mac and cheese and frozen chicken tenders at night, then you should be able to heat and eat something too. So just keep everything low effort. That doesn't mean like you have to make a totally different meal just because your kid wants mac and cheese. And if your kid wants mac and cheese, you're short on time, you can have your mac and cheese, whatever that ends up being. So I am like a huge proponent, is that the right word?
Mhm.
Of um having frozen or pre-prepared meals that are like your go-tos. You know that they have good ingredients, they have good macros, you can work with them. Um, and if you like see something at a store and you want our opinion at it, of it, send us a message and we will give you the pros and cons of that food, and we'll tell you like things you can do with it. We'll go off, I'm sure. We can talk about this forever. Um, so some things that I recommend people do is like go into the frozen meal section. Sometimes they have like a health meals or like healthy food or something like that in the frozen section. Go to that section, look at meals, check their macros, and find something that fits in your plan and talk to your coach if you have one about what that looks like. But those are super easy. Most of them nowadays have pretty good ingredients, not a ton of like preservatives or fillers or anything like that. And they taste good. So, other things that you can do, you can batch cook meals and then freeze portions of it so you always have food that you can warm up. So, certain meals work better for this than others. if you like cook a meal and then you freeze it this way with like freezer bags, it can last for probably over a month, maybe like up to 2 months. So one day of cooking goes a really long way. And you just have to make sure like, oh, I should eat this before it goes bad. So just put the date on it, and keep it in mind. But if you are using this method, chances are you need it. So you will just go through it before it would expire, technically. So this is a good method for things like chili or stews, fried rice, enchiladas, things that like you can add a little bit of water to and heat it up in the microwave, and it'll be like a little bit goopy already. So you're not like drying out a bunch of food. Um, and then another method that you can use is what actually one of my clients called it the Lego food method. So I mean, you can call it whatever you want, but I think Lego food is fun. So you put your normal like meal prep staples into silicone ice trays, like the big ones where it's like this big. So you can put like your rice that you've cooked, or like probably not veggies because you can just buy frozen veggies, but any meats, any kind of like sides or sauces. So if you make like a flavored rice, that's a good thing to put in there. Even things like I'm trying to think of, oh, like potatoes. If you do mashed potatoes, that's another really good one. And you put them in those little silicone trays, and then you can just pop out these cubes essentially of your food and build your Lego plate and then microwave that. So those probably won't last as long in the freezer just because they are open. Even if you do cover them, it's not a sealed container. So that would be like for short-term prepping. But that's something else that you can do so that you always have it on hand. I think that one is really good for like curry. So, um, yeah, those are some ideas for like quick on hand things. I know Costco has a bunch of different meats and things. Look out for sodium content. Just be aware of that. Not that there's anything wrong with sodium, but if you're eating this meal like 3 times a day, you'll get a lot and you'll probably be like, oh, the scale went up tomorrow because
Yeah. If you're having one meal that's this, like, don't be concerned. Like, and if all your other meals are pretty clean anyways, there's not a ton of sodium in those, unless you're adding additional sodium on top of them. So in the big scheme of things, like that one meal a day is not a big deal. Like you said, if it's multiple meals, be careful. But yeah, otherwise, with how clean the diet is, there's not a lot of added sodium anyway. If you have a clean diet prior, like your other meals.
yes, you detail.
Yes.
Mm. All right. Next tip number 4. Zuko's interested in this one. This one is kind of like just a parent reality. The dinner table is where kids learn how to eat. And that statement is really powerful when you think about what it means. So I know that picky eaters can be a challenge, but as parents, it's important to do what you can to teach them how to eat food that will keep them happy and healthy and strong for the rest of their lives. So just a couple tips of like and examples of things that you can think about doing to meals to help your kids and you, because these should be goals for everybody in the family. Always including a protein. So no matter who you're cooking for, there should always be a protein involved. And chances are, if your kids are really little, they're going to take a couple bites of it, and the rest is for you because you're super strong and jacked and you always hit your protein goal. So, like, when kids are little, I feel like it's just your responsibility to cook your proteins, and then the kids can have a couple bites of it. You don't have to worry too much. Like, there isn't this huge protein requirement that you're trying to fulfill for your 4-year-old. Unless your 4-year-old like loves meat, then that's great. But yeah, so that one should be easy. Like if you're finding that you don't have protein at your meals, the reason is not because your kid likes mac and cheese, it's because you're not cooking your proteins. and then offering that to your kids. So protein, that's your responsibility. Have your kids eat as much of it as they would like. Um, Other things, always including fiber-rich carbs. So ideally, that's a vegetable of some kind. If it is not a vegetable, because ew, the food is green, I don't want to eat it, is what you're hearing, then things like, I mean, even just mashed potatoes, a good wheat pasta has like a moderate amount of protein and a decent amount of fiber. So you can get fiber in their diet without it having to be the color green. But color is good. It's good to eat the rainbow.
Yep, very colorful plate. And there's fruits. There's fruits that have a lot of fiber in there too. So apples, pears, kiwis, if kids will eat kiwis. Like there's
Mhm.
a lot of fruit that have a good amount of fiber.
Raspberries and blueberries, all the berries.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, I think just the idea behind this is improving the meals that they do like instead of making a separate one, whether that means a separate one for you or a separate one for them. So looking for ways to add protein, add fiber, add micronutrients to whatever their favorite foods are instead of just serving that favorite food. So if it is a mac and cheese night, like throw some peas on the side or like mushrooms or I don't know, whatever your kid will eat. It has to be something
Or,
that they'll eat.
or protein pasta for the mac and cheese
Yeah.
if you're making your own.
Uh-huh.
Um, I had a lot of clients, a lot of friends talk to me about when they're like you were talking about preparing the dinner, but then also while they're eating the dinner, they're also explaining a lot of why protein is important for you, why carrots help your eyes. They go into some of that stuff. Obviously, that's not every conversation at every dinner table, but it's every once in a while it's thrown in there. And I've heard some of their kids go protein because I want really big muscles, huh, mom? Stuff like that. So and making it fun like that. It doesn't, you have to go into this whole scientific thing on it, but, just talking to your kids about the benefits of these things while you're eating it, whether they hear you or not, whether it sounds like they're paying attention or looks like they're paying attention, still just saying it. And then obviously modeling it, like what you put on your plate, they're looking at that too. So modeling's a big thing. Kids always watch what you're doing and may not always listen to what you say, but they're always watching what you're doing. So if you're modeling it too, they're more likely to model that behavior also.
Mm-hmm. I think it was actually Jordan Syatt on Instagram. He posted, I think he has like a 3-year-old and maybe one that's younger. But he posted a video where his daughter was like, ew, I don't like that. And he's like, you don't like that? He's like, oh, well, that's mine. And then he starts eating it. And he's like, oh, this is so good. He's like, no, you can't have any. And she's like, mine. So he
Yep.
tricks her into wanting the food. I think it's yogurt or something. And she's like, after he like eventually gives it to her, he's like, no, you can't have any. She says, I want some, I want some. He's like, you want some? And she's like, yeah, I love yogurt. And she's eating it.
Of course. Yep. Make it their idea, right? Everybody does it better when it's their idea.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Too cute.
Reverse
Uh,
psychology.
uh-huh, exactly. But he also has done some videos showing like him explaining to his kids like, oh, this makes you strong or this like helps you, whatever. This gives you energy, like this makes you run super fast, like supervision, like, you can make it really fun. It doesn't have to be scientific, like you said.
Yeah.
Just those building that foundation of like food has like health properties. It's not just whatever you want it to taste like or look like. Like, oh, well, things that are green help with this, or, you can
Yeah.
simplify it based on their age.
Like, let's talk about us and our age and who is a big like food person for us. Popeye, right? Like, eat your spinach, you're going to get big muscles, right? Like, we all remember that. So it's kind of the same thing. Like, just make it fun for them, and so that they have a little bit of buy-in to it too.
Mm-hmm. I don't remember growing up if there was like a
I
food
thought,
icon for me other than like Tony the Tiger. from Frosted
They're
Flakes, you know what I
great.
mean? Like all the cereal guys, which was a big thing because I was uh 5 in 2000
Thanks
ish,
for making me feel old.
1999. So yeah, my cereal years were like the early 2000s, let's say. So it was big on like Lucky Charms and just all the commercials for cereals. So um you as a parent can become the mascot for their food knowledge instead of these like leprechaun and tiger guys being like, eat my sugary cereal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Tip number 5, our last tip is that your child's plate doesn't need to look like yours. So if you are like you've made all of your meal prep basics and that's what you're feeding your kids, which absolutely nothing wrong with that, by the way. If you can do that, great. Um, But if they want extra things, like they can add the fun stuff to the meal to make it more enjoyable. The fun stuff that you probably choose not to add because you're tracking your macros or you have a meal plan and it's just not worth it to add it to that meal. Like they can add cheese and sauces and seasonings and fun shapes and purple ketchup and whatever they want to do they even make that purple ketchup anymore?
That's a great question. I have no idea.
It was like purple and green ketchup. It was so horrible. But they can add that stuff as long as they're eating the food, right? Like the core of the meal is good, healthy building blocks for their nutrition. And then you can put extra stuff on top of it. They don't have to worry about the extra calories and they're kids. So it is the same meal. It's just different plates. It just looks different. So those are our 5 tips. I know that Shalise, you had said that you had some clients who were looking for like examples of meals or things that they can try out. I mean, all of the like my go-to meals that I make, it's simple stuff. It's like it's burgers, it's tacos, spaghetti. Um, I'll make like just meat and rice dishes in general that have different seasonings or sauces on them. Like I made a Mongolian beef the other day, so it was like, oh look, it's Chinese takeout. Like when I was a kid, I loved Chinese takeout. So I don't know if that was a weird thing, but I thought that was so special. You can even buy the little takeout containers and you make the Mongolian beef and then you like put it in the takeout container for your kid. How fun. I don't know. um, but it's like if your kid just loves bread and butter or like buttered noodles is a really good one. Like Shalay said, protein pasta, put some butter on there. Um, and then maybe give them like a side of, I don't know if they like a sausage or if they like some ground beef or whatever. I don't know. Little things. Like you said, fruits, trying to introduce colors. I think there right now there's a lot of hidden vegetable recipes. But I've also seen a lot of the people making the hidden vegetable recipes say like it's not even worth it because they didn't even like it.
Oh no.
um Kind of like where it's like it would be maybe easier to get your kid to be open to eating the vegetable than it would to hide the vegetables in the food. Like I've seen one with like lasagna and they put eggplant in as like the noodles instead of noodles. And I think she was like, I don't think my kids like lasagna that much. So um I mean, there's a lot of different ways to get creative. Of course, it depends on your kid, but there are substitutes that you could make.
I mean, and we talked about this on that one episode we keep referring to, like simple things like just swapping out the fat content of the meat or whatever if you needed to too. So instead of, 85-15 beef, it's, 90-10 or 97-3 or 93-7, excuse me, something like that where it's just a little bit healthier. I mean, if you're worried about that piece, but I mean,
Yeah.
just like that. Like there's different percentages of fats that are in your meals too. So you can swap stuff out like that.
Yeah.
Or,
Um,
eating up a tortilla instead of dunking it in oil. Like, I mean, they're way better dunked in oil, but I mean, just little things
yeah.
like
When I think of typical like kid foods that are going to be a hit every time, it's like if you're making your kid a chicken quesadilla every single night, and maybe what if maybe they like guac, maybe they don't like avocado, they like it when it's guacamole, or maybe they don't like tomatoes, but you can like stick tomatoes in the quesadilla and they don't realize it. Like that's something where they actually can't see it because it's like a sandwich. So, um, I think like honestly, I don't see anything wrong with giving a kid like a peanut butter banana sandwich. Is it going to be high in fat? Yeah, but like you're probably not going to be eating a peanut butter banana sandwich.
yeah.
um putting chicken in a quesadilla, putting chicken in a grilled cheese, hiding things in cheese, kind of like a dog, how you put the pill inside of the cheese for the dog.
That's
Do the same thing with your kids. Uh, or
yeah.
like if you do want your kids to like have a serving of vegetables and fruits and you can't get them to do it, make popsicles. You can blend a veggie and fruit juice and make you taste it first and make sure it smells good. Tastes good. Doesn't have to smell good. But make sure it tastes good. You can put spinach in there, you can put kale or celery, whatever you want, and get, however many servings you want, and then pour that and freeze it. Then you have these popsicles that your kid thinks is just super yummy, but secret, it has leaves in it. It has green things.
I'm seeing if there's anything else that some of the clients mentioned that I want to.
Yeah. Um, What else? I really love like for kids that will either sit and listen to you read or kids that like reading, I think getting books about food is really helpful to like opening them up to other foods. And nowadays there are a lot of really good like books like that. So you can talk about like how different foods grow and you can go like see them go to Home Depot and be like, "Oh, look, this is a strawberry plant and like this is where peppers come from." Like if they won't eat bell peppers, be like, "Look, this is like where it grows." And just showing them things, getting them curious about it. This is turning more into like how to get your kids to eat your food, but instead of like solutions, I guess, but it is. I think, at the end of the day, at some point your kids are going to be eating that food. So starting them earlier is can only be a good thing. And it makes your life easier too. What were the other things that your clients had brought up, Joyce?
Um, Nothing different than what we've said. Like they were just saying, like we also make movement and playing outside a big deal too.
Mm.
So not just the food, but also, and that it's not go and sit on the couch and play video games and all that stuff. That movement's a big part of it. One thing I remember a client telling me one time is, so she's been with me for several years, and they do a lot of the conversations around food with their kids. And her daughter's in middle school now, and they were coming home from a soccer game, and the parents that she was riding home with decided to take them to some fast food place. I don't even remember what it was, but they'd asked the daughter if she wanted that, and she's like, you know what, no, I'm good, thank you, because she knew like it doesn't make her feel good. Like
Yeah.
it wasn't that she didn't want it. She's like, I just know after a soccer game that I need something better than that, and it doesn't make me feel good when I eat that. So she's already aware of that because they've had those conversations. And she was the one who said it. Her mom wasn't sitting in the passenger seat. Her mom wasn't there. Like she was the one who said, and you're like, no, I'm good. Like I can pass up the fast food. I'm almost home. So I'll eat when I get home. So that's pretty cool when it transfers over like that. And even the kids start to understand that. And they see that certain foods don't make them feel good. I still have adults that can't do that yet. So yeah, I mean, it does transfer over, and that's pretty neat when the kids can see that, especially active kids who need the better meals, you know. Not that anything's wrong with fast food every once in a while. I'm not saying that either, but yeah, because I understand it's a busy schedule and a busy life for parents. So you do what you got to do, especially when you have active kids.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think I can't remember if we brought that up on our other call. Just talking about like how to look at the nutrition facts from a restaurant and make it like a smart choice. Like as a parent, you don't have to tell your kid, okay, look at the menu at the fast food place and decide what you want. You can say, hey, here's this fast food place. Like, this is what we get from this restaurant, especially when they can't even read yet.
Yeah.
You don't ask them like, oh, well, do you want a burger? Do you want this? Like, you can say, do you want chicken or do you want, I don't know, whatever else they have. We can use Chick-fil-A as an example. Like, do you want a sandwich or do you want strips? And then you can get them the grilled strips if you want to. Like, you have the power to determine what they're allowed to order while they're really young. And then as they get older, you can explain to them like what you were saying with the girl who is in like seventh grade, where she's like, no, I don't need that. Like, I'm gonna wait for something that makes me feel better. Like, what a absolute legend.
Right. One other thing I want to bring up that, so this is TJ, so I'm going to give this one to TJ. What did she say? Where'd it go? Well, she talked about the experience with them. She said, where'd it go? Oh, you don't talk to kids about like, don't eat sugar because it goes straight to my butt. Don't eat sugar because it's going to make me fat. You know, that kind of thing. It's never those kind of conversations. It's I'm choosing this because it makes me feel good. I'm doing this. So it's not those, you know, going to the what am I trying to say, Taylor? Like the body image side of things with
Mm-hmm.
it's just making better choices because of this, or I choose this right now because this tastes really good to me, not making it a fat thing, or this is how many calories it has. Oh, that's going to make me fat. That's going to make me whatever, you know. And I don't know if you deal with this, but I deal with a lot of moms that have trauma from parents by saying that. And
100%.
so think about that and that connection. Like, did your parents say that and how that affected you? Now what you say is going to affect your kids too. So don't put it as a negative connotation on what it does to your physical appearance. It's more just teaching them how it's helping your body, you know.
Yeah.
And don't say like, oh, this will make you skinnier or this is going to make you fat. Like, no, don't go that route with it at all.
Yeah. Always linking it to a positive health benefits, not like
Yeah.
physical appearance, not out of fear of like, well, you know, if you have another slurp, like especially with making comments, like as kids do get older, making comments with the quantity of food that they're eating and tying it to something negative versus saying something along the lines of like, this is how much meat that we eat because that's what our body needs.
Yep.
Yeah, super important. The psychology surrounding food can be really dangerous, but if you are doing your best, you know, to teach in a way that you wish you had been taught, I think most people do a decent job. Um, just trying to avoid those like all the negative commentary, especially from moms.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, yeah. So at the end of the day, the goal should be modeling healthy eating without creating food rules for your kids. Um, explaining to them why certain foods are good for you, helping them warm up to more unfamiliar healthy foods, and just teaching them how to eat and why we do it that way, and making it fun along the way, bringing them into your life and helping them enjoy a healthy life. Just like your coach might be kind of walking you through how to find a healthier lifestyle, that's what you are doing for your kids. At the end of the day, we all just want to eat mac and cheese, but might not be the best to eat 3 times a day, every single day.
You're no fun, Taylor. Yeah, I guess one last thing I'd want to say on this whole thing is we don't want to label foods as good or bad with our kids, or, physically what it does to us, good or bad either. Make it, because that's going to cause any guilt around food or shame around food. So we don't want that at all, ever. So just talk about how food supports our body, helps us grow, gives us energy, helps our brain work better, our eyes work better, all those kind of things. Like, talk about the benefits of good food and not put any shame or guilt on kids about what they're eating, how much they're eating, that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
Sounds good. All right. Well, we can end it there. If anybody has any tips that they'd like to share, feel free to message us, because we'll create some posts relating to this. So if you add one, we'll add it in our post. We'll tag you. Next week, what are we doing? Let's look. Next week, we've got, oh my gosh, it's here. It's finally here.
Which one?
Fitness Mythbusters.
Oh, that one. Awesome.
Yeah. Okay. Fitness Mythbusters episode 1. Team Iron and Lace versus 3 trending fitness claims. Dun dun dun. So yeah. Come join us for that. It'll be really fun. We will announce the fitness myths probably in the beginning of the week. So you guys can look forward to it. Or wait, this call is Monday, so we will announce it by Friday. So you can look forward to it over the weekend and then join on Monday.
Perfect.
Right on.
Be a fun one.
Yeah. Thank you, Shalise.
Yeah. Nice work, Taylor.
Talk to you soon.
Righty. Have a great week, everyone.